It's Sunday, and you know what that means. Another episode of Unturned Pages. How are you, Alicia?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. I got 7 days until Eloise. Well, not technically six. Okay, 6 days until Eloise. So I'm trying to figure out what equipment I'm bringing and how to pack it all in one bag, so I don't have to do a check bag.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm good. So tonight we have my good friend Kelly Haapala, who is hosting the ParaVenture event on Saturday. It's an online and in-person event in Bay City if you do in person. Otherwise, it's online. It's almost like 12-hour paracon, all virtual, with some amazing people. So we'll be diving into that. And then we'll be also talking about Eloise and the history and the buildings that are on the property. But first, let's do our little housekeeping pieces. I still have t-shirts available. I have some in stock, but if I don't have your size, we can pre-order them. They are $25 plus shipping. And then I'm also opening the pre-orders for the long sleeves, hoodies, and zip-ups. Long sleeves are $35 plus shipping, and then hoodies or zip-ups are $45 plus shipping. We still have some of our Unturned Pages bracelets for Maximala. They will be on the website for Maximala's hopefully very soon. Jessica's been working on getting that up for us so they can do a drop ship from Moxie, which is amazing. Thank you to our supporters and our sponsors, Small Town Productions. That's Larry Eisler III. If you haven't gone, check out the Seance trailer on YouTube. It is a little snippet of what the documentary that they filmed last October at the Roth House out in Illinois. And then Breaking Fate Entertainment in Illinois. They have a great event coming up in April on the 12th, and then November in the 15th through the 16th. So check those two sponsors out. Upcoming events I will be at Eloise on Sunday, and then the next one would be the Booze on the Battleship in North Carolina on April 26th. Upcoming guests, so let's see, where are we at? Friday we have a special show. I'm super excited. Alicia's response to me having a show on Friday was, "Wait, what?" But we had to kind of reschedule our guests for what we were supposed to have on Sunday due to me going to Eloise. We will have Adam Kimmel on Friday night. Special show, same time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we all know Adam Kimmel can go down rabbit holes all night long. He owns FCI, he owns Madison Seminary, and he helps at Indiana State Sanitarium. So I'm super excited to have him back on. So mark it in your calendars now. Come back on Friday at a regular time and catch this amazing guest as well. And then Sunday, you have
Southern Fried Spirits Paranormal.
Yes. So I will not be on because I will be hunting at Eloise, but Alicia will be handling the show on Sunday. It's her true test on Sunday if she can do it all by herself.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. But so check that out Friday and Sunday. You guys get us 3 times this week. Insane, but we can do it, right?
Busy.
Paranormal Lockdown is coming up very fast. I can't believe this week will be April, so it's coming up faster than we think. July
18th and 19th.
18th and 19th. I cannot think of dates. At Broadhead Manor, so check that out. Amazing people will be there. So come out, hang out with us. Me and Alicia will be there, and so many other people. And in the fall weekend, I'll be in Gettysburg at the Battlefield Bash, the 25th through the 27th. So if you're on the East Coast, you can't make it to the Midwest, you can come and hang out with me at the in Gettysburg. Oh, there's Kelly. And then we have one more event, November 15th and 16th in DeKalb, Illinois, at Mr. Willie's Dark Arts and Oddities. So that is our little housekeeping. Let's talk to our guest now. Hold on. So, like I said, Kelly has become a good friend of mine over the last year or so. Super excited because she is hosting the ParaVenture event, which hits hard to my heart because my daughter is autistic. So this is very close to the heart for me. So Kelly, introduce yourself more than I did.
Well, hi, Jenny. Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much for having me on. And yes, I'm excited too, Jenny. And yeah, I am Kelly Haapala. I live in Michigan. I have a big online paracon coming up this Saturday called ParaVenture. All of the proceeds go to Autism Alliance of Michigan. And it is a star-studded event. We have even more now than what that flyer that I gave you. See all those? We have so many people involved. Some are going to be pre-taped and online, and others are going to be in person. For those that are pre-taped and online, they are going to try to be on and chatting with everybody during their time frame. I have set times for the schedule that's already up. And then the ones in person are going to be Larry Eisler and Michael John Angus and Michael Gagliano, Mary Lynn Bast. My cousin Jolene is going to be there as well. What she does is she has a laughter class, which I'm sure Michael Gagliano is for.
Oh yeah.
But it's great because it really helps you with your stress and your perspective on life. And it is super contagious and super fun. So that's one of our vendors during the event. She'll be there live on stage to help everybody out midday. And then I also am the paranormal talent manager at Eloise Asylum in Westland, Michigan. And I'm super excited to finally be officially on board there. I have been there helping John out with tours since day one when he purchased the place, and have been around and kept saying, come on, we can do more. We can do more. Everything kind of was, sticking close to home here in Michigan, which is great. Yeah. Michigan loves Eloise. They've treated Eloise great, but we need to let the rest of the world finally get to see Eloise a little more.
Definitely. So with ParaVenture, do you have like ideas of what people are going to be talking about? Like, I know, I think Jeff was going to answer questions from people, correct? Like
yes.
pre-recorded question and answer.
Yeah, Jeff had, we all know Jeff has so many different amazing speeches that he could talk about.
Right.
And so we were trying to determine what to do for that. And we decided, and he was the one who came up with the idea. He's like, I always have so many questions people ask me. And he's like, how about we just let people decide what they want to hear? And this is an event that is for people, that is to be more about open communication and resources for each other. So yeah, that's what he's going to be doing. So people have already answered or asked the questions on his Facebook site, and they'll get the answers if they get the tickets to ParaVenture. And then we have, I'll go real quick here. We have right away starting us off is Nikki Folsom. She'll be talking about the dark side of the Fae. And 9:45 is Kim Sage, how to use intuition during investigations. We will have a little bit of information in there, kind of like an ad period about Beacon TV and Eloise. And then at 10:30, we have Rhonda Hart with Rhonda's Mystic Solutions. 10:45 is Dulcie Horancy, Terra Magics she'll be doing. And then 11 a.m., Brad Blair and Tim Ellis, Mr. MI Paracons himself. They will be talking about the fun monsters and mysteries of native lore. We have giveaways that we've put in there. Our first giveaway is at 11:30, and there's going to be a lot of them. Yes, Mike, I'm sure you'll be talking about toasters too. He'll be popping up as a toaster all the time.
Right.
Which is awesome.
You'll be running behind like Larry doing
I know. Well, imagine. So here's the thing is I have Mike on stage twice. I don't know if he knows this yet, but the first time him and Mary Lynn are for 15 minutes. We have to try to keep it at 15 minutes.
Good luck with that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
So 11:45 is John Howe. I don't know if you've seen any of John's work yet. He's a photographer. Amazing work. Amazing. So I'm so excited for that. Noon is our first location, and that will be Gettysburg Orphanage in with Viking Cat Paranormal at noon.
Oh.
So there's a
nice.
quick little like tour type of thing and investigation type of thing for those that have never been to the orphanage. 12:30, we have MJ Dixon, who is talking about producing and filming your own paranormal show, YouTube show. She's also going to be talking about some fun products she has too that will really help you out with investigations. And sorry, trying to go quick here.
No,
this shows you how much we're giving for the little amount of money. Plus the $50 you're spending, you could pretty much spend on any of these giveaways and be happy to get it. You know,
Right.
it's going to be great. 1:15 is Richard Stepp telling the story. 1:45 is my cousin Jolene at Great Lakes Bay Laughter Club. 2 p.m. is Mary Lynn Bast and Michael Gagliano, Para with a Normal. 2:15 is another giveaway. 2:30 is Shane Pittman, Power of Manifestation. 3 p.m. is Diet, the many ways we autistic messages that we receive. We are all uniquely normal. 3:30 is the second time Mike will be on stage. The Beacon TV panel with Michael John Angus, Mary Lynn, Michael Gagliano, and myself. And then 4 p.m. is Mr. Larry Eisler, who will be in person on stage. AI in the paranormal. That's going to be a really good one that he has. 4:30, more giveaways. 4:45, Erin Taylor and all of her bathroom books and Colorado books. She has a lot of really cool books out there. 5 p.m., Mr. David Schrader, Near-Death Experiences. 5:30, Sarah Lemos, Pathway to Spirit. 6 p.m. is Paranormal Voice with Dale Quigley. Dale and I have a sit down to talk about what they do at all the paracons and what Paranormal Voice is all about. 6:15 p.m. is Paraware with Amber Cummins. Amber does so many of the apparel for the paranormal and has a very cool video. I really hope everybody checks that out. 6:30 is Jeff talking about the answers to everyone's questions. 7 p.m. is our second location. That's going to be Rochelle Stratton and Brian Murray, Adventures with Rochelle. That's going to be on Beacon. They are going to be at Cheney Mansion in Illinois.
Ooh, nice.
And then 7:30 is our finale. That is our final giveaways, our final thoughts. Thank you to all of our sponsors, information about State Theater, and if everything goes on time, which it should, we have from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. our live investigation that will be live streamed there at State Theater. And it's a pretty cool old theater. My hometown, Bay City, has an amazing history, just like many small towns do.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
so thank you for all that
the
time.
Best snacks
that was a
to
lot.
be on investigations. No,
What
you're
was that?
good. Is Michael going to talk about the best snacks to bring on investigation?
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah, he's not going to talk about it. He's going to bring them.
Right?
He's going to eat them. Oh, actually, there is the owner owns a candy shop as well. My hometown is like a tourist town, and he owns St. Lawrence Brothers, which is this throwback type of candy store. So I promised Michael that we would be going there.
So he's bringing all the candy for the investigation on Sunday. Got it.
Yeah. It'll probably be Mary Lynn.
Probably.
He'll just stuff his pockets.
Right? Of all the
yeah.
time we're on our investigations, Sunday you're hearing the wrapper being open. We're like, okay, Michael's
Right.
here. Where's
Right.
Michael? So, what is the history of the theater that you will be at?
So with the theater, it's pretty cool because it started off way back in the day when it started. There was sorry, my internet's giving me a problem because of the weather. So if I'm looking down, that's why. Just making sure I'm staying on here. But with the theater, it started in 1908, and it was called the Bijou Theater back then. It was remodeled in 1916. What they did was back then, the Mayan type of artwork was in style. So that's what they did for the theater. They renamed it a couple of times. It was the Orpheum and then the Bay. But paranormal history wise, there's a couple of things. One was in 1943. The old manager, Floyd E. Ackerman, was shot and killed when he walked outside of the building with a bank bag. He was going to walk just right across the street to the Davidson Bank, and he was shot and killed right there and robbed. And the State Theater, what's cool about it is that it has not really been investigated much at all. There's not a lot of history with that, but we know the history of the town and of the theater. And with our town, we have what has been called Hell's Half Mile. It is about a 6-block radius. And what happened is we are on the river, and the lumbermen all came up there, and it was notorious, just like in a lot of other towns. But it was very notorious for a lot of crimes, a lot of, prostitution, a lot of brothels, a lot of bars. And what ended up happening is there's tunnels and catacombs under town in that Hell's Half Mile area. And the tunnels led from business to business. And one cool part of that with the theater is small, and there wasn't a changing area for the actors. So they would take the tunnel and the catacombs and go across the street to the Davidson building, and they would change there and then run under the street to come up to perform on stage without anyone seeing them. With that, though, before that, back in the day, people would buy a cot. The workers would buy a cot to stay down there. Whether it was a theater or other businesses in the location, for 5 cents a cot to be able to sleep down there. They would have bars down there. They'd have brothels down there. The law kind of turned a blind eye, but at the same time kind of knew and would try to keep a handle on things. But, honestly, if they're not up on the street doing it, they'd rather be unseen.
Right.
But it was scary too, though. And it's got a very, very notorious, we have, lots of murders in alleys and lots of things happening there. But just like with many places, it was Native Americans were there beforehand, especially in Saginaw, Michigan, and Bay City. And so there's all that history, how it is as an investigator. Just because you hear something doesn't mean it's who lived there or who worked there. It could be the land. It could be, just a trauma that happened there. So I'm excited about that. And one thing that you got to be kidding me. Did you see Mike's comment? One thing that we'll make Mike sleep on the cot during the investigation. We'll do that. One thing that people don't know yet is at State Theater, I am going to start having historical ghost tours at the theater as well.
Oh, fun.
So one of the giveaways is going to be a ticket to that. There's also the candy shop, like we talked about. That's very haunted, but that's fully in business. So there may be some things that's going on there. We have a lot of really cool things going on, not only at ParaVenture on Saturday, but afterwards in the live investigation.
Definitely. Derek asked, what type of trigger objects do you think would work the best at brothels? I would say dollar bills, but is there something else that one might try to use?
I know personally before I've used even alcohol, like a shot glass, because lots of times they're coming from a bar to a brothel, or they're bringing their alcohol in there with them. So I would, I'm not even going to say what Michael said. But so, yeah, I mean, alcohol would be my go-to, because usually bars and brothels went hand in hand.
Absolutely. I would say definitely alcohol. That's what I've had luck with down at like Rock Island, or like Old Bear End, or even the Hoover House in Waynesboro. Alcohol always triggers something. So with ParaVenture, it is helping the Autism Alliance of Michigan. Can you talk about that beneficiary?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So Autism Alliance of Michigan, AAOM, is this amazing resource that helps families and those diagnosed with autism, whether it's as a newborn or toddler or young child that they're diagnosed, all the way up to, we have people that are being diagnosed as teenagers and adults. As soon as they are there to help with the resources that you may need for insurance, for doctors, for therapy, for group sessions, for school, even just the medications, and even just the unknown of it all. I mean, it is hard for the caregivers just as much as those that may be going through it, to learn how to handle it, to learn how to have the patience sometimes for it, to have the understanding for it, but also to give as much as you can to your loved ones with autism. You want to have them have every opportunity in the world available to them, just like we try to do for ourselves. That's no different. So I have found, with all the work that I've done as a therapist and with my company Own Your Path, I've found that working with families with the state of Michigan, that Autism Alliance of Michigan, time and time again, were the best resource. Now, that being said, they are inundated. They are overwhelmed, just like every, facility and resource with autism is around the country. Mm-hmm. They need as much help as they can get as well to continue to be there for others. And even, I've mentioned before, we have emergency beds in the state of Michigan if something were to happen. If a parent needs to send a child to the emergency room and say, I need help, they're hurting themselves, or they're hurting me, or this is happening, what can I do? The state of Michigan only has 16 beds for that in the entire state.
That's crazy.
And it's not that they don't care. It's not that they don't want to have more beds. There's just not the resources for it. And that's why I chose them as this, to me, is my inaugural event. I plan on doing this every year. And of course, I wanted to start with them and with the state of Michigan, since that's where I'm at and that's what I'm familiar with. But I want to choose a different state each and every year. So as soon as this is done, I'm going to be determining which state I'm going to next for next year. And, we all need the help, and we all need to be open and communicative and be there for each other. This is not a stigma. This is not something, we talk about the fear between the paranormal and autism. We need to communicate and be there for each other. And the more we open our minds and the more we talk and we realize, oh, you're going through that too. Oh, this is who you found. Why is there a stigma with it? And 1 in 36 children in the US are diagnosed with autism. And, there could be so many different signs with it that you don't even recognize sometimes. And then there's so many different types of therapy, whether it's ABA or CBT or anything else that they could use that a parent may not know about it, or that local, resource counselor or therapist may not know about it. The school may not. And even with the schools, IEP is not always the best for them either, because the staff there may not understand it. And I see Amber was in here, Amber with ParaWare. So she's one of the vendors. And Christy just gave a great donation of a hour-long reading that she's going to donate to someone as a giveaway.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, as you know, autism, I could go on and on about autism, but it is the seen and the unseen, depending on where you are in the spectrum, whether you're low frequency or high frequency. And there are struggles on both sides of it. Even if you can talk and you look like everything's fine with you and all that, you're still having a lot of struggles because you're not able to get through the day like everyone else can.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you want to give as much hope and as much help as you can for those on the low frequency side of it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Like I said, it took me 6 years to get my daughter's diagnosis of autism. And we finally got that this past summer, which I was so grateful for, because everybody else was like, no, she's too young. She doesn't show enough signs. And we finally found one assessor is like, I see the signs. You're not going crazy. But her ADHD on like a scale of 1 to 10 was like level 20. So we had to take care of the ADHD before we could get to the whole autism thing. And we finally went back and she's like, yep, she has the autism. You're not going crazy. Here you go. And since then, we've been able to get on what we call here in Minnesota is the DD waiver, which is development delay type of waiver thing. So it's like a state funded thing where parents can get paid to do helping their child with different tasks. And then there's other levels of it. And luckily my daughter can go to respite, which is her auntie's basically. So we get time as to like breathe and do things that we can't when she's around.
Right. So but just like how you're talking about how parents getting paid to help out, that's something that so many people don't know about.
Right.
And I know in Midland, Michigan, they are a big resource there. They have more there than throughout the state to help with that. But yeah, families don't know that. They don't know that either they could be getting paid or someone else that's helping out could get paid.
Or possibly both.
You know,
can get a weekend, have the person that you pick or the county picks. They take the child for a weekend or however long, and you get a break and you get to do your shopping or you get to go rest, get that little break of relief, and then they get paid and then you get paid for the other days. But yeah, it took forever to get on something like that.
Yeah, and that's part of the work that I do with Own Your Path is besides giving therapy and helping with understanding your steps in life and all of that, I'm also an advocate for everyone and anyone, but it seems to be more and more autistic families I tend having coming to me, which is great. And and I help them because they are so overwhelmed with everything they're dealing with that even the little task of trying to call up a place like that and trying to fill out paperwork and all of that between myself or Michigan Alliance, Autism Alliance of Michigan, we're great advocates to be able to help parents out with that.
Yeah. There's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming and it doesn't need to be. And while we don't have all the answers right now, why aren't we sharing the answers? It's almost like you're gaslighting yourself or something.
Right.
We all like to be private in our lives. I know I do too. There's things I like to keep private. But when you reach out and you talk, you realize that you're not alone, that there's so many other people in the same boat that you are, or like Annie said earlier, under the same umbrella.
Yep.
And what Michigan Alliance has, their logo is like a bridge, because they try to be that bridge for parents between what they're going through and who can help them. So that's why I chose them, and that's why I'm going to forever continue doing this.
Right.
I love
And
that
like
so much. I work with individuals with developmental disabilities also. So been doing that for 3 years, and we have some autism in our home.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, first of all, thank you for the help that you give, because it takes someone special to be able to be empathetic and to, you know, be there for each other like that.
It really does.
It really does. And Christy said it's not easy for parents to advocate for their children, because like me, you could be just getting that definition of doctor saying, nope, she's not right up against that definition of autistic or that DSM definition.
Right.
But it's such a wide bridge for autism. Like, where do they lie? Do they lie on the high or the low? And some doctors are like, well, they're so high, they don't need the definition. They don't need that diagnosis, when actually they do.
Well, and that's the thing too, is we have to realize, whether it's with autism or anything else going on in life, yes, doctors are amazing. And yes, they've gone through all of the training to be a doctor, but you have to be your own advocate. You have to be. They don't know everything. They haven't been involved in anything. I don't care if you have a list of 50 symptoms. You need to tell your doctor all of them. And if they're not going to listen, you go to someone else.
Yep.
And that's the same thing with, you know, family members that are autistic. They cannot just accept what's given to them. You know, you may learn one thing from one doctor, but your path may lead you to a different doctor. You know, this has helped you in this step, but you need to get over here. You know, and sometimes there's things, even like I said, with each of us in life, that there's things that happen to us that you think is a negative. And you're like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? And you don't realize it's actually a detour to get you back on your path, or to take you somewhere where you need to make a connection with someone, or you need to experience something. Every single thing in our life is a lesson, an observation, a connection, but it's all for us, even when it doesn't feel like it's for us. It is absolutely for us. We just need to change our mindset and the perception that it is for us, and figure out, okay, why did this happen? And that holds true, like I said, for everybody, but especially autistic, you know, situations, because it's still very new to everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
I love you already, Kelly. I love your mind.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's, you know, when I say, I don't want to take up much time on this, but everything that I try to help people with my company, and the things that I say, is not just words. I've lived it. I've gone through things in life. And you realize, once you get in that mindset, you realize what's going on. I've had, from when I was a young teenager. I've heard that about Illinois. It's like that with a lot of states too. Yeah. They're definitely one of the ones on my list to think about for next year. But when I was a young teenager, my mom used to teach religion classes to autistic teenagers. And I was there as the assistant, to keep them from touching the radiator, to keep them from going out the door, to keep them, you know, occupied. And I enjoyed it so, so much. It wasn't a daunting task. It wasn't me looking down on anyone. I adored it. I was a paraprofessional for a kid in school. Like, things are brought to me. I'm not even looking for them. And now all of a sudden, over the last couple of years, I've had a lot of autistic families come to me with my business. And what I was saying with perspective is, I've had a lot of what you would perceive as negative things happen to me in life. one of which was a head-on car accident when I was younger that I should have never, ever, ever survived.
Oh my God.
And then they had to wait a week to do surgery. When they did surgery, I woke up in the middle of surgery and found myself floating above my body, but in another room first. And then I came back, I could hear talking and could tell it was my doctor. And I went, got back in my body, everything, woke up, talked to my doctors about it. They admitted I was awake for 15 minutes. And, you think you could be in that victim mindset of why me? How is this happening to me? And I thought about it. Nobody knew back then in 1999 really what anesthesia awareness was.
Right.
And I saw someone talk about it because she opened up. She didn't keep it to herself. She got on Discovery Channel and talked about waking up in surgery. Because it was 99, I emailed her and thanked her for going on the show. I said, now I don't feel like I'm going crazy. Thank you so much. And the very next day, I was asked to be the campaign spokesperson for her anesthesia awareness campaign. And the day after that was on the Today Show. And for 20 years after that, I was a spokesperson for anesthesia awareness. And I helped get brain activity monitors in every single hospital in the world. And I helped write Supreme Court briefs for lethal injections that dealt with anesthesia for humane purposes for putting someone to death. And all of that, when you look back, when you take a step back from your life and look at it as a map and all your steps, you start seeing these connections and you start seeing these reasons. And I find that I'm so grateful that happened to me. Whereas someone else may be like, oh my God, why did this happen to me? And because of this, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe I was graced enough with that task because I firmly believe I was brought here and we're all brought here for different reasons. As far as Doug saying about the pain, I absolutely felt the pain. The paralytic was the last one to wear off.
Right.
By the time that wore off, I almost fell off the table because I was internally kicking and screaming. I'm like, sorry, but hell no. I survived that accident. I am not going to die here on the table. And they had to catch me because when the paralytic wore off, I almost fell off the table.
Yeah, like with you, your story kind of goes with mine when I had my last hand surgery. That knocked me out at first, but I remember waking up during it. And right as I woke up, I heard the doctor say, I've only done the surgery like 5 times in my life, in my career. Because it's not a very common hand surgery.
Yeah.
It's where they have to take the tendon out of your arm.
Okay.
And place it into your thumb.
Oh, I see. Sure.
And I remember waking up and I'm like, did I just hear that? Did I just hear you say that?
Well, he could have taken too long. Or what I found out, what people didn't even know back then, those with red hair, even if you don't look like you have red hair, but you have it in your family, Novocaine and anesthesia does not work well on you if you have red hair. And then, of course, trauma to your body can affect, your state. But that's why the brain activity monitor is needed. It's called a BIS monitor, is to help regulate that. Mm-hmm. Now, before, there was only 1 per hospital when I helped get them in there. That's all we could get. And you had to ask for it. And I was always telling people, ask, no matter what surgery you have. Now, gratefully, it is in every hospital. They have numerous ones. You don't have to worry about there not being one for you. Mm-hmm. Most of the surgeries they use them for. However, like you said with your hand one, they may have felt it was one that would be quick enough that it wasn't needed. But if someone's taking too long, or who knows what your chemical makeup could be as to why it may not work on you.
Yeah. People don't believe me when I say that I woke up during my surgery. I'm like, I heard it. I saw it. I'm like, then I kind of closed my eyes, pretend I was still asleep. Maybe I'm like, okay, if I close my eyes, maybe I'll go back to bed. Maybe I'll go back to sleep and pretend that I didn't just hear that.
Well, I was so grateful. My surgeon, he could have pretended like it didn't happen. And I think he saw also how adamant I was, and I would not stand for anything until I got to talk to him. And he's, admitted it. And then even with some of the shows I was on, like Larry King and stuff, he took their call and he answered them on it.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was very grateful that he was responsible with that. I mean, I didn't sue them. I didn't, it's not like he got in trouble. They've learned from it.
Yeah.
But like Doug's saying with biggest fear, that's why I tell everyone, use a BIS monitor. You'll be okay. If there's a BIS monitor being used on top of your anesthesia, it doesn't matter. Your levels will be regulated. It's something should be used in every single surgery.
Right. Definitely. Well, let's kind of flip the page and talk about Eloise, since you are now the official Eloise Paranormal chairman, I should say, kind of thing.
Yeah, we kind of called it. It's funny because we have Sean there, who's been there for a couple of years, and he helps to run like our escape rooms, and he does the trying to put in the staffing as to when people are going to help with public investigations in the escape rooms. And so he has been called the paranormal manager. And we have a new GM there, Amy, who is amazing. And her and John really wanted to bring me in. And they're like, but we don't know what to call you. So it's a paranormal talent manager. And nice, Michael.
Michael, yeah, that's what I made that face. I'm like, of course he would post something like that.
So paranormal talent manager, mainly because what my goal is to start having the private investigations there more. There has not been enough there at Eloise, and a lot of them have primarily focused with people in Michigan. Yes, people from other states have come, but nobody's been there to really help or answer an email or answer a call. Yep. And so that's what I'm there to do. But also I'm going to be bringing in the talent for private investigations, for, big events that we're going to have. So just like how, Jenny, let's say like with Ashmore Estates, you're going to be there to lead an investigation and you ask people to come join you. That's what, we'll have talent there to do that, whether it's a Dustin Perry or
Michael Gagliano.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm very super excited about it. We do have 2 big events coming up in May and June. Those will be announced shortly. But for those that didn't know, Eloise was in operation from about 1839 to 1982 to 84. There was numerous buildings on the property. It used to be a poor farm there. It actually used to be a town as well called Eloise. And I will say I've been lucky enough to talk to some people that used to be medical students there.
Oh, wow.
And they could tell you to this day, they had no clue some of the things that were going on there with the patients, but also had no clue about any hauntings. They actually had amazing experiences there at Eloise. It really helped them with their career. They loved helping the patients. They loved, there's so many really cool stories within history with Eloise. It's not all negative. That being said, Eloise is extremely active. There is a lot going on there. John Hambrick, our owner, has been amazing. He put in a bid for the building years ago and won it for $1.
I can't believe that. Like,
that's realized.
Can I find a location for $1 and buy it? Like,
I know. But think about it. How big that property is.
Oh, it's huge.
You have to pay taxes. You have to pay to keep it up, going. And just like how we saw, like with Ashmore and other places, when the roof goes, that amount of money is crazy.
It's crazy.
So, that all being said, and John's not into the paranormal, but he's very open-minded. Like he loves the place. He adores the place. He takes good care of it. But to pay for things, he created a haunted house there on the first floor and partially in the basement. Obviously, I'm not a fan of that. I wish I could have been brought in years ago to try to help bring in more money on the other side of things with investigations. But he has taken very good care of the building. And then the escape room, same thing. It really has allowed him to be able to hire staff like us and to do everything that's needed for the building. Escape rooms, I will say, though, are some of the best I've ever seen.
They
Absolute best. Like, I can't talk bad about those at all. Not that I would anyways. But I mean,
right. Yeah. I went to Eloise last March just as a day tour. My friend at the time was one of the tour guides, and I was up in Michigan for Tim Malley's event. And I was like, okay, we have time. Eloise isn't that far. Let's just go do a day tour. And she showed us the escape room. So I'm like, this is like amazing. Like,
yeah,
I don't do escape rooms, but I want to do an escape room at Eloise because they look so cool.
Yeah, I hope you do it on Sunday. Yeah, Alicia, you would really love it. Like, it's pretty cool looking. It's very I don't know how I would be. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know how quick or how long I would take, but I probably would not have Gagliano in there with me. Love you to death, Mike. But if I'm not going to be able to figure it out, I don't know if you will either. We'll just be sitting there eating snacks through it. You know?
Yeah,
no, Michael, you guys got this.
Or he'll be on the outside. Are you done yet?
Are you done yet? Let's go. Come on. Michael, if you get to Eloise, I think there's like a 5:30 escape room on Sunday. If you get there in time, 4 of us can go do the escape room at Eloise, Michael.
Yeah, I'll make sure they know and have that information. And Eloise is gosh, we know it's been showing on a couple of shows, including with me on Beacon last year. Yes, yep. And we barely touched it. Barely. We didn't have a lot of time. Gagliano was there with us. He actually was so professional. I mean, I'm not surprised. Mike's very professional, but he was behind the scenes, behind the camera, him and Michael John Angus. And so Expedition Unknown has been there with Josh Gates, or I'm sorry, it was as Expedition X.
Yep.
And Destination Fear and so many others.
And then
there is something.
Scott and Stephanie. The Secrets of the Asylum, which I thought was amazing. How in depth they went with their research was crazy. Yeah. And there's something different every time you go. Every time you're there, there's something different happening. I can say that personally, that it is amazing. My favorite, as you know, Jenny, and I think it might be yours too, my favorite is 5th floor. Yep. That's why I was hearing all the voices and stuff when we went in the, it was like 10 a.m. And we were hearing voices, seeing shadows, hearing screams, hearing the footsteps. It was crazy. I'm like, if this is 10 a.m., what's going to happen at night when the whole place changes vibes? Like,
yeah. So right now,
screams.
Yeah, I was hearing screams during the day, and it wasn't outside.
Oh my god!
There wasn't many people out.
It's often. Sorry, Jenny. It's often that you hear a female scream, and actually, I help out. Well, for years, I've helped run the paranormal events at the Whitney in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And Heather and Chad Dye run those now, but I still help them with it. And one of the ladies at the Whitney who does the daytime tours, her name's Deb. She caught the scream when they went in November on her recorder. And real quick on 5th floor, what happened to me is I had where I felt like a cat had rubbed up against my leg, just very soft, nothing, it wasn't a hard hit or anything. It was just a gentle rub against the back of my calf. And for a month after that, I had a huge, very sore bruise.
Oh, wow.
Then in the surgery room, I had gone in there with one of my team members, and, we're getting a lot of information and, asking for messages, and it comes across on our device saying burn.
Oh,
we're
wow.
like, so is that what happened to you? Is that what, we couldn't figure out. We're like, all right, we're going to walk to the other end of the hall, but we'll be back. When we eventually came back, maybe a minute, if that, when we came in there, at the top of my shoulder, I felt like on the back, I felt like something was burning. And it really was painful. And I had him, I pulled on my shirt and had him look, and there were 2 very red, distinct marks that looked like almost like a welt type of mark. Mm-hmm. And we're like, my gosh, it's like I got burned. And then we both realized it said burn when we were in here.
Wow.
So it's like, was that a warning that if you stay in here, you're going to get burned? Or was it trying to show me what happened?
Right.
But the last thing with that area I'll say is when I would give tours, I loved that we had, I forget the name of it now. Was it the Flux, where it's the green and red?
Yeah, the Flux.
And I had that set up in the surgical room, and we would bring tours. Every 15 minutes, a new group would come through. And you stay on your floor, and I, of course, had 5th. And I started realizing that spirits did not like me bringing these groups in. They were mad at me. They were not mad at the groups. They didn't take it out on them. They took it out on me. So I realized that if I brought a group into the surgical room, that they could ask and get answers to questions with it. But if I stepped foot over that threshold into that room, it would go nuts. It would just red, green, red, green, red. And I'm like, do you want me to leave? And it would say yes. And I'd step out of the room, looking into the room, and it would be fine. And the groups thought that was hilarious. Like they just couldn't believe that was happening. But there's a lot of activity in Eloise.
I know Derek asked, hold on, I gotta find it here. Is there a negative energy or evil? I didn't feel any negative or evil, but you have to think of the patients who were there at the same time. Like
just like how we talked about with perception. It's the same thing. It's how you perceive it. And when you think about, there were probably a lot of people with autism in the facility, and they may be acting out, and that may be what residually you're feeling or intelligently you're feeling or experiencing. I also do not think that anything's evil or negative. On the Beacon show, Shane asked me, would you stay here by yourself? And whenever they ask that question, somebody always answers, oh my gosh, no, I'd be too scared. And I was like, yeah, I would. And he wasn't sure how to respond to that. But, there are stories of a creeper, the Joker, of the old, janitor in there, everything else. I think a lot of these buildings also have the stories about a janitor or, someone that preyed on patients or that was creepy acting or looking. And they may just have been misunderstood, but they definitely could have sadly been someone who caused trouble. I will say you are going to encounter, like you said, shadows. You're going to encounter voices. You're going to be touched. You're going to possibly see something crawling on the ceiling. I mean, it just depends on if they want to show themselves to you and if you're open enough to seeing and hearing it. But odds are you'll have some sort of experience there, but I would not be afraid.
So talk about the tub. I know a little girl died in what is the tubs at Eloise. Harmonia.
Yes.
I believe it's her name.
Yeah.
Talk about her story, because I know that's a dominant story from Eloise is Harmonia and how she died.
Yes. Yeah. And, there's that, again, going back and forth as to whether it was an accidental drowning or if it was something that negligently happened to her.
Yep.
And so in being respectful of spirit, I always try to, of course, get them to give us a message if they can, and also try not to make what they experienced any more traumatic than it already was. They themselves are not this scary horror type of creature. So when I'm bringing someone through there, I just talk about, imagine this little girl, let's say 11 years old, that this happened to. It's just so sad that this happened to her. And you almost hope that it was accidental, and that maybe she didn't feel anything. Maybe it was quick. If this story is true, which we do really believe it is. But I'm sure you have too, Jenny, and others that have been there. I've had a lot of communication with her in there. Mm-hmm. And I have found, though, personally, I have found she talks more with the females than she does the males.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that one. And like I have told you and the whole huge chat group we have going on right now leading up to Eloise, I'm doing the Nessus in the tub. That's all I can say. I'm doing the Nessus in the tub. Right. And then I'm doing a solo on 5th. Like, yeah, y'all can go on the other floors. I'm going to do a solo. Larry's going to have a camera on me at all times. And we'll have to have walkie-talkies or something, because if I start freaking out, you all need to come and rescue me.
Yeah, when we hear you scream, I'll just be like, that's just the lady that screams all the time. She's fine.
Oh, thanks, Kelly.
No, I'm really digging.
I like this comment. I like this comment.
Yeah, I do too. There's some things in the works, and there may be some people, I'm glad to hear you say that. There may be some people I'll be talking to, and let me just put it this way. I have a great rapport with the owner and the GM and the staff we have there. I'm very happy with how things have been getting turned around. And, but my goal is I need to make sure these first couple of events I have just kick butt, are great. They're not going to be gigantic events, but I want the owner to know how much people care about Eloise outside of Michigan. But I also want Eloise to know how much people care about her and how much people are interested and want to keep her history going and want her to know that we care. And, I think if we can help keep everything afloat there in a great, respectful way, that's going to be amazing. So I really want to turn things around like that. And obviously, of course, a paracon would be great, and other events there. We do need to take it step by step, but I'm fully confident that our paranormal community is going to be just as excited as I am to welcome everybody in.
I agree with this comment, Alicia.
I know. Yeah. This is totally happening.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally happening. I mean, honestly, pretty soon here. So we all know, first of all, I don't like personal attention. So when I talk about my surgery coming up on Monday, I've kind of had to put it out there because of Eloise and everything else going on, so that people know I'm going to have just a little break. Yeah. But yes, I have surgery. Once I do that and I've recovered, there will be many dates I'm going to be putting out for events like that. And many times that I'm going to say, all right, let's go. We've got this date. That being said, because I'm starting all this out, doing all this, right now it's currently the Sundays through Thursdays. There are a few like minuscule times I can do a Friday or a Saturday. So please know, getting started, all these private events will be Sunday to Thursday, but the big events, of course, will be on a Friday or Saturday. But I welcome anyone and everyone, whatever event you want to have there, whatever you would like my help with. I'm also going to be putting together local information, and we'll have it on the website where people know where they can stay, how they can get there, what the best places are to go eat. It can be very, stressful to go to a place that you don't know. I mean, Jenny knows, like,
Kelly has been the lifesaver for this trip. Like, I've been messaging her. I'm like, is this Airbnb in a good part of Detroit? Where do I have to look? What about this one? What this one? And she was like,
I was like, I'm not sure you want to stay there.
Like, she got us 2 amazing locations to sleep at, which I'm so grateful for, because we're like, we have this big group of people, of 10 people, 8 or 10 people, and we're like, where are we going to go, all of us? Like, you can't go get like a normal hotel because that's going to cost thousands of dollars.
And I mean, there are places near Eloise that are great, that are safe, that I'll be putting up. But with how quick we put your group together, I have you going to a friend's Airbnb that is a huge home that has given us an amazing deal on it. That is approximately like 25, 30 minutes from Eloise, which is not far.
No.
But he is someone that I'm working with, that his place will be available to other groups. Maybe not for the huge discount that you have, but it will be a very good discount.
Yeah.
But I care that much about it too. I want people to be able to come see her. I don't want there to be any hesitations, concerns, worries. I take this very personally, that if you're coming to see her, I want to be a good host and make sure that all your questions are answered and all you're doing is coming there and having a
great Right. That's what
I'm with Derek.
Like,
I'm a foodie.
I'm with Derek too.
You mentioned food like places, and give me a good food review, a good place, and
Kelly,
me and my stomach will be there.
I definitely will. Of course, I'm going to say Buddy's Pizza, because that's right down the road. Detroit style pizza is the best. Sorry, everybody else, but and then of course I have the connections with the Whitney. Now the Whitney is about 30 minutes from there in Detroit. It is a more of an upscale type of restaurant. You can come in there with jeans and a shirt on, but I always recommend just go to the Ghost Bar at the Whitney and order a small plate or an appetizer and have a drink there. That alone, that experience alone, and the amazing food and the amazing atmosphere is definitely a place I recommend.
Right. I was Google searching last night for places to eat, and I saw that Detroit has Boston Market and Krispy Kremes. So I sent Doug a message. I'm like, we have to hit these 2 places. These are the 2 places I have to hit on trips. Like,
do you not have those by you?
No, nope. Oh. Minnesota kicked both of them out. Like, we used to have like multiple Boston Markets. We used to have a ton of Krispy Kremes, and over the years they've all left. So whenever I travel, I have to look for Krispy Kremes and Boston Market and have at least once. So I'm like, take pictures for my friends here in Minnesota and be like, look what I got.
Yeah, we definitely have those. Yes.
And Doug's like, I've never had either of those. I'm like, oh
my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, Boston Market. It's almost like you could have a Thanksgiving dinner with Boston Market, which I will say I have done as a single mom. When there was the holiday, every other holiday, when I wouldn't have the kids, when they were younger, and my family doesn't live totally close to me, there would be some times where I'd be like, I'm ordering Boston Market the day before and having this full-on meal. Yeah, Doug, Buddy's Pizza.
The mac and cheese at Boston Market is amazing. The mashed potatoes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's probably frozen mashed potatoes, but they're the best mashed potatoes, better than KFC. Like,
well,
how I told Doug, I'm like, KFC's here, Boston Market's like up here.
I agree.
It's a whole new level.
I agree. I was going to say how I was talking about the candy store, and Eloise is in Westland, Michigan, and it's about 30 minutes from Detroit. And so as I was talking about the candy shop up in my hometown in Bay City, Michigan, where ParaVenture is, they have some really cool restaurants and local shops too. Like I said, it's almost like a tourist town. And as we talked about, I'm hoping to bring people to that location too. I will have some announcements in the next, I don't know, probably 2 to 6 months on some of that. So I'm hoping to bring people up there.
Recover first, and then you can start thinking about other things.
I know my mind's constantly going, though. I probably shouldn't go like this when I say mind constantly going, but that's how you feel sometimes.
Right.
I have one last question.
Right.
So Kelly, do you feel like you're drawn to this particular location because of like what you do and stuff? Because it sounds you love this building and the spirits there very much. And I feel like I'm drawn to mostly like these types of places myself because of that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking. It like I said, when you look at your path of life when you stand back and look at it, it's crazy the connections you have. And I have, more recently put 2 and 2 together like that. First of all, my first time at Eloise, when I went to leave, I always do the typical, you're not allowed to follow me home. Mm-hmm. You're not, I was so excited about being there. I forgot to do it.
You forgot.
And I get in my car and my car won't start. And the guys on my team come over and we're like, what could be? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't say, that I'll be back, but you can't follow me. As soon as I said that in my car started. Like I tried it again and my car started. So I said, I've always, as crazy as it sounds, I've always told Eloise, if you ever want me there to help, you know where to find me. Mm-hmm. And you'll find a way to get me there. And now I've been hired to come on there. And this was years ago. This was like 2018, 19.
Oh,
but
wow.
And I agree with you, Alicia. Like, I think there is that connection, definitely. And I always talk about my life is about helping others, but why does it have to be just the living? It can be the dead too. It can be history. It can be restoring respect for them. And even at the Whitney in Detroit, I think I love it so much there also because the Whitney family gave back to the community. The daughter was the first president of the YWCA. And then she moved to Paris and she opened this huge girls' school and they were I can't even say it. They gave a lot to people.
I can't even say it.
The dad, David Whitney, in his will said that his kids could not have the money unless they were helping out the community. Like there was things in place for that. And I think that's why I feel at home there too. And Alicia, I know I'm meant to be there. And I just feel at home and cannot wait to share her with everybody.
Right.
I totally vibe with you. I vibe with you so much.
Thank you.
Like Kelly's amazing. And
thanks.
I've told you, Kelly, after I went for the first time last year, Harmonia kept coming to my dreams, like calling me back. Like she was looking for her mom. And I think she just I felt her when I went there in March. So I'm like, okay, I have to come back. And I think it lasted 2 weeks after I left, kept having Harmonia come in my dreams, talking about her death, how she's looking for her parents, how she's scared in the large building with the other people. And I'm like, we have to get back. And then Larry had this idea. I'm like, let's do it. Let's go.
I know. I was so excited because Larry's coming for the ParaVenture event the day before. So we're like, well, if you're in town, I mean, this goes to show how much, first of all, I love helping people, but secondly, how much I love Eloise and love the paranormal world. Because for me to do this hours before my surgery, I'm like, bring it on. Let's go.
Bring it on. It'll get your mind off it. You'll have one big party night before your surgery. You'll be going
to party.
I like to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be like, I can sleep now and have.
I know that's the whole thing. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be really tired. I might actually, because I don't sleep right now because of my neck and everything. But I'm like, maybe I'll actually sleep in the hospital.
Yeah, and like my mom said, when I reached out to Jeff Bent, who made my box, he's like, I'm gonna pick a haunted location. I'm not gonna tell you what it is or where it's from until I give it to you the day of. And he had pieces from the owner of Eloise of Wood, and the box I have is Eloise Wood. And when he gave it to me in July, he didn't know the experiences I had at Eloise in March. So when he said, your box is made from Eloise Wood, I was like, okay, now I'm really connected to Eloise. Like,
yeah, that's
I have
very
pieces
cool
with me, and that's, I know, like, the last couple of weeks I've had dreams of Eloise, so I'm like, this is just amping up the energy for next Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, get me ready. Like, definitely.
I want to tell you real quick too, I had 2 days before I got the call. I've been trying to help John out for years, and I even put together a business plan for him a couple of years ago. The general manager, who's new, like I said, she came across my information. She saw that I had been trying to get a hold of them and trying to do this, and to no avail. 2 days before I heard from her, I saw in my dream an older man peeking around the stairway at Eloise. And I knew for certain it was between 4th and 5th floors. And he was peeking, looking at me as I'm standing there. And I'm like, I don't know. I woke up and I'm like, I don't know what this is about. But I knew, of course, for some reason that it was Eloise. Now, I hadn't thought about Eloise in a while. I've been busy doing some things. The health stuff has been on my mind. And then, of course, ParaVenture. And then when I got the call about it, I was like, oh, that's why I got the dream,
Right.
and I'm just, I love hearing stories like yours and know that, Alicia, like you said, everything's meant for a reason.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I think there's ways, we need to keep history alive. We need to keep memories alive. We need to be there to hear what they have to say. But the same holds true for the autistic community. I mean, there's messages that we need to find ways to hear from them that they're not always able to give to us. So we need to keep working at it and keep being empathetic, but being there for each other too, because it is so daunting. It is so draining to sometimes care so much and not know an answer as to how to do something or have a break from it.
Absolutely.
And
like
sometimes, go ahead, Jenny.
Like I've told you, when you're doing these big events, reach out to me because I've done events before. I've hosted them, so I can always help and be some kind of input. I don't know from how far, but
no, I appreciate it. Like, it's all the help is definitely. I'm not someone who is like, nope, I've got this. I want it all to me, or I want. Obviously not. Like, but that's not why I'm in this,
Right.
and someone else can bring something to the table that you might not be able to. And but I also know, like, I worked in sports for over 20 years with NFL Films, and I started all the semi-pro soccer teams in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And I ran huge US Open Cup games. I ran huge arena World Cup games. I won national championships with my team. I've been on that platform of, like, knowing how to do a lot of things, but also having Paranormal World on the side. And so it's nice to have some of that knowledge to now be able to bring into a place like Eloise. But like I said, having all of us as a community together to help with it.
Right. Absolutely. So where can people find you? Where can they get tickets for ParaVenture, find information on Eloise, all that fun information?
Thanks. Yeah, I think the best way to do so is through social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, all of that is at ParaVenture. Or they can go to my personal site at Kelly Haapala. And yes, there's 4 A's. I also have my company site at Own Your Path, but I would say for these 2 events, more is on those 2. There are links in all of my plentiful posts. I have so many up there. But you can go to my company's website, ownyourpath.net, and there is a tab at the top that says ParaVenture 2025. You can click buy tickets, or you can just donate. There is a donate button there as well. And then for Eloise, you can contact me at kelly@eloiseasylum.com. Or if you go to the Eloise website for a public investigation, use the code Kelly Haunts for a discount. If you end up going to the website for a private, they will send you to me, but you are welcome to mention my name as well, and they'll get you right over to me.
Sounds good. Well, I can't wait to see you in, well, technically 7 days, but technically 6 days.
Well, this time next week, we will be investigating. Yes.
And there will be live videos, I promise. After Alicia gets off, we'll be doing live videos throughout the night. We'll probably do a live video of me doing solo on 5th, probably.
I will say real quick, too, if you don't mind, Paranormal Rockdown just gave an amazing information to me for ParaVenture. Anyone who buys tickets for Paranormal Rockdown this upcoming weekend, during when I have my charity event, 50% of all those tickets will go to my charity, Autism Alliance of Michigan.
Aww.
And
awesome.
I think one of my biggest things, besides wanting money for the charity, resources are needed. Help is needed for them. I think besides that, I'm worried for people that are going to miss out. This really is going to be a great and fun event. And just like with other paracons and other things going on, it's hard to spend your money. It's hard to know what to do. If you can, please try to be on. You're not going to regret it. And I just feel like you're going to miss out if you don't. And it's all going to be recorded on streambeacon.com and on their app and on Roku. Your ticket will get you in there to watch the recording.
Yes. And you have until Friday to buy your tickets.
Yes, thank you. I had to do Friday because I have to send out the link to everybody. So Friday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. That's my time. So by midnight my time, Friday night, you have to have your ticket sold for online. If you are local and want to come in person, you can buy all day long at the theater. You'll get a bracelet and you can go in and out as much as you'd like. But tickets, you need to grab them now. And believe me, we have well over 22 giveaways that are amazing, including $1,000 worth of tickets to Eloise. So
I'll watch win that.
$50 for a ticket for 12 hours of a paracon and all these giveaways. I am at the point right now where almost everyone's going to get a giveaway because we need to get people buying their tickets.
Yep.
You are at your last week here.
And I'm donating photos of Eloise and a unturned pages basket, which I gotta bring to Kelly on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. And sorry if we've gone over here.
No, you're good.
It's we're all passionate about all of this, and it's going to be a great weekend.
I can't wait. I will see you Sunday, and we get to have some fun before your surgery.
Yeah, definitely.
Get some sleep, hopefully.
After surgery, I'll get sleep.
She's like, I just gotta work all the way up to Saturday.
I do. I have to go do more editing on my stuff. I'm happy to do all the work, but what if you win your own giveaway? Good question. Believe me, if you win your own giveaway, I will, figure out something for you. We will give it to someone else, and I'll try to either automatically give you something else or, we'll work it out.
But yes, we will see you. I will see you Sunday, and I will
see you someday.
Soon.
I'm coming up there.
Very soon. Yes,
we're all going to come up there.
I will be watching.
Happy hour.
Yes. You guys continue to be amazing yourselves, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
So that was Kelly. You guys go buy your tickets for ParaVenture. It's going to be an amazing day. I will be watching as I'm flying up through the air to Detroit. But don't forget, Friday night, we will be back on here April 4th at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern with Adam Kimball. If you ever been to Madison Seminary, Fairfield County Infirmary, Indiana State Sanitarium, you will know who this guy is. if you watch his TikToks on Tuesday nights until like he goes, I think he starts at like 9 p.m. our time and goes until like 3 a.m. He's hilarious. He will go down many different rabbit holes that we can talk about. He has his own show on YouTube called Resident Undead. He is an amazing person, and you will learn so much from him. I often watch his TikToks, and my mom can hear me laughing from the basement, laughing out loud because this guy is so funny.
She's probably like, shut up.
Right? Well, one time it was like 3 a.m. and he has at Madison Seminary a haunted doll named Maddie. He on TikTok, you know how you can get those like people to come in and request to be live with you, the special guests or whatever. Well, he was getting people from Pakistan.
Oh.
So he brought Maddie up, put Maddie in front of the camera, and was having Maddie talk to the Pakistan guy. And I'm sitting in the basement. I'm like, I need to shut up because River's asleep, my mom's asleep, and I'm like, oh my god. And then he brought the epic box from Ghost Gear, the one that says yes, no.
Yeah.
The poor Pakistan guy thought it was a bomb or something.
Oh my
god. His face went like and then he ditched the live. I'm like, whoop, I think he thought it was something else here.
Oh my gosh.
So
they probably didn't know what they were even watching.
Right? But Ed will be on with us on Friday night. It'll be a great way to end your week. Don't expect it to be a quiet interview because Adam will talk. Adam will talk and he will make you laugh. So bring your drinks, bring snacks, and get ready for a great Friday evening show. And then Sunday you have Southern
Fried Spirits Paranormal.
Yes. So we'll be back on Friday, and then Alicia will see you guys on Sunday. I hope you all have a great night, and we will see you Friday night.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.